Hello and welcome to another episode of Monday Brews and Views. Just before we get into it, I'd just like to quickly disclaimer that although I am first aid mental health trained, a lot of the information that you will get is come from my own knowledge and experience and should not be used for a substitute for professional help, although I do hope you find some of this information useful. Another one before we start. Last week's riddle, last week's distraction if you will, was, let's quickly go over it again. Sorry, I was checking. Last week's riddle was, when you do not know what I am, then I am something. But when you know what I am, then I am nothing. So I wonder if you got that one. If you did, you'll know that the answer was a riddle. Okay, so I'll be giving you another distraction for you to think about and distract yourself from whatever else you've got going on at the moment at the end of this episode. Today, what I'm going to do is be going through, I guess, a bit of your own DIY first aid mental health. So, if someone that you know is struggling, then this is what you can use. This strategy is what we use here. So first off, it goes along the words of C.A.R.E. So that's the acronym C.A.R.E. C.A.R.E. And basically, what the C, I'll go through these ones and I'll go through some examples and whatnot. So the C stands for check for significant risk of suicide or harm. Okay, so those are obviously the first imminent issues that we'll have to deal with when trying to help someone who's in crisis. A for apply, non-judgmental communication skills. So again, we'll go over that in a little bit, but it's basically not going into not thinking about yourself and not thinking about what they may or may not have done and what they may not have thought. R, reassure and provide information. I guess that's a big one. And E, encourage professional support and self-help strategies. And again, this is part of what I do here with the Monday Brews and Views. So first off, let's go a little bit deeper into C.A.R.E. Okay, so when you are, when you might need to look out for things like people are saying that they want to end their life, or they're saying that they start speaking about death, writing about death, saying a lot of negative things about themselves. Those are sort of indicators that someone may be potentially looking to harm themselves, and you should be aware, trying to be more alert and aware, especially this day and age, that this is a possibility. And try to get on, check with them, check up. C should also be to check in with people as well, I think, because check in with your friends and family, and just be prepared to listen. So people become very anxious, irritable and stressed more than normal, who will get a little bit anxious and stressed out throughout the day or throughout the week or whatever. So that's, some things are normal, but when they start to team, when responses to things become a little bit out of hand, then that might be an indicator that they're struggling. And you don't know. I mean, people hide a lot of stuff behind a smile, but more often than not, you don't really know what's going down inside. So again, check significant risk of suicide and harm. If you've ever been there, you'll know how easy it is to keep those thoughts to yourself and to hide your true feelings. So be aware of that, and apply that opposite of what you might be doing in that instance. So you might need to dig a little bit deeper without coming across too pushy, which is difficult, I think, in a way, isn't it? How do you push someone to give you an answer to something that you think you're aware of? without pushing them away or pushing them too far, that they just don't talk to you at all. So it's a fine line. Communication skills, again, just being available and open is the key, I think, to that one. Obviously, if someone is in immediate danger, and by this I mean, like, they might be getting ready to jump off a bridge, or they might be looking to hurt themselves. They might have some weapons, or something along those lines. They might have some things lying around that you think, they're they are literally about to do it. Then you need to contact the emergency services straight away, and then they'll be able to get someone out there, and then you just stay with them until the help and support come and help you out with that one. If it's not immediately, then obviously we'll call through to 111. My experience of ringing 111 for one of my other jobs in C.A.R.E is that it can be a long time waiting for those. So during that time, you're going to need to keep reassuring that person, keep talking to them, and help them. Obviously, people who take drugs sometimes as well will act a little bit more irrational and erratic. So again, just be careful with that when you're dealing with them people. Or, well, I said them people. What I mean by that is people who are, feeling low in mood and stuff. All right, so let's move on to A, apply non-judgmental communication skills. So basically, just let the person lead the conversation. You may help guide it a little bit, but help them lead it and listen. Give them full attention. So don't try and chuck in your own opinion too much, because they don't want to hear that. What they want to do, potentially, if they are willing to talk to you, people in those situations don't necessarily want to hear your opinion about what they've been through, whatever, because they're not bothered about that. What they're bothered about is how they feel and what they're going through and what the situation is that's led them to that point. So communicate with them, and again, what's it called? Is it active listening? Where basically you apply the understanding of what they said by repeating what they said back to them, and then also then confirming your understanding of that, which helps people know that you are actually listening and you understand what they're saying, which then helps them feel a little bit more comfortable with that. So that's a good one, that one. And that applies with anything, really. If someone's trying to tell you something, especially if it's important, and for your understanding too, is regurgitate what they said, and then apply your understanding of that, and then check with them if that is correct, and that will allow that conversation to flow so much better, and again make them feel that they can open up to you a little bit more. Again, with any questions that you ask them as well, if you're trying to get them to talk and you're struggling, then you need to be probing with open-ended questions. So that's a question that doesn't require a yes or a no answer. It's something that might need to go a little bit further. So if someone says, what time is it? The answer is whatever time it is. That's it's a fairly closed question. Or, are you okay? Yes, no. That's a closed question. So we need to be asking open-ended questions. So for example, rather than are you okay, how are you feeling? What's going on right now? Those sorts of things, those sorts of questions will potentially, not guaranteed, but potentially lead to a more extended answer to that question, where you then might be able to start again using active listening, reconfirming what they've said back to them, and reconfirming your understanding, and so on. Yes, maintain a good open body language and eye contact and all that sort of stuff. And don't close off, because it's like drifting off into sort of daydreaming. You want to show them that you're listening, and that is by being attentive to them at that moment in time. Again, there's a couple of things. Give them time, be patient, whatnot. So we're going to move on to R. This is a big one. Is reassurance. Reassurance basically and provide information. So, let them know that if they've contacted you, a lot of people do reach out certain times in moments of crisis. So be aware of that. If you might potentially have to step up at that point in time. So just thank them, reassure them that they've done the right thing in contacting you. And unless you're mental health first aid trained, or you are a mental health professional, don't try and diagnose the problem. Because don't try and put a label on it. That person is just simply in a place, in a bad, dark place, and they might just need someone to talk to about whatever it is that they've got going on, and they're just struggling to sort of express that and process that. So it's down to you to just be there and to reassure them and let them know that they're not alone. They are loved and they are cared for, and maybe get some sort of reflection back. I like to one of the things that is useful is getting them to think about a loved one, a pet, something that they care about, or someone that they care about a lot, which will help them sort of reflect and then reassure them that they are needed and loved by that person, animal, or whatever. So it's tricky, and again, I'm just brushing over this, but we can go into a lot more depth in each one of these, and each one of these, as it in itself has its own sort of strategy. But if you think about the C.A.R.E, I'll repeat it. So you've got the check, you've got the assurance, apply, non-judgmental communication, reassure, and then we've got the encourage. So reassurance and provide information, and if you believe the person is in immediate danger, always try contact 999 dementia services and let them know what's going on. In any case, if it escalates, get on that phone and get them the help that they need. So encourage, if they're not in immediate danger, then encourage, which is E. And then self-help strategies. So a lot of the time we get stressed, get anxious, get depressed because we're not looking after ourselves. We're looking after other people, putting a lot of energy into that, but then when it comes to looking after ourselves, we're not doing that. So if you see someone who is doing that, someone that you know well, and they're looking after people, they're getting 3 or 4 hours sleep a night, then encourage them to look at ways of how they can look after themselves better. Could they be eating better? Could they be getting better sleep? Could they be exercising a little bit more? And it doesn't necessarily have to mean some hardcore training that I like to do sometimes, but whatever it is that gets them to relax a little bit more and then get a bit more of a better routine, especially if they're staying up late and then getting up early in the morning. So encourage those. The self-help books, YouTube motivation, I use that so much every day. I probably watch 5, 10, 15 minutes, sometimes have it on in the background on washing up the dishes, and it just kind of like gets you going and makes you look at life a slightly different way, even if it's just for a moment in time. So encourage those techniques. Meditation is a good one, and a lot of people don't necessarily know how to meditate, but meditation can be done simply by counting. Spend 5 minutes slowly counting your breaths, like 4 seconds in, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Don't almost that one, but you know what I mean. But just breathing in slowly and breathing out slowly, but then also counting it, and then start counting. After a while, once you've got the rhythm of breathing in, then you can start then trying to count and see how well you get. Your mind might drift off, but that's the whole point of that, is then getting back on track again and counting that. And just maybe set a timer for 5 minutes. So reassure them. There's lots of different strategies in that, and part of this Monday Brews and Views will be some of those strategies. So look out for those in the future. I think that's about it. Like I said, I've brushed over that. I'm going to go over some of these topics, and like I said, just to give you a bit of an overview of how you might be able to help somebody who you might notice is in crisis or in need of some help and support. If you're in need of help and support, I have a 30-day self-help program where I will sit down, or whether it be on Zoom or whether it be on face to face, where we can discuss a particular issue, and then we can get that set up, put into a sort of plan, and then we can work on that particular plan. So that's the C.A.R.E program, self improvement program that I created. So you can hook me up on that, get in contact if you're interested in getting involved in that. It's a 30-day program designed specifically to help you with your mental health, lifestyle. You don't necessarily have to be a long-term issue, but if it's something that you've got that just might need a second opinion on, then it's perfect for that as well. So I'm just going to finish off today with the riddle of the day, of the week really. So today's riddle is, now these are for kids by the way, so this shouldn't be too difficult for adults when you think about it. So use these, right, to sort of spend maybe 5 minutes on or whatever, and just meditate, and that will help distract you from potentially what you've got going on at that moment in time. And then it's like a form of meditation. This is why I bring it in. It's a bit of fun. So if you know the answer, pop it in the comments, or just keep it to yourself, and then I'll let you know the answer next week. Okay, so here it is. You can see me in water, but I never get wet. What am I? One more time. You can see me in water, but I never get wet. What am I? So I'll think about that one. So you might already know it, clever clogs, but I'll be reporting back with the answers to that one in next week's episode of Monday Brews and Views. So keep FKN grinding, keep FKN smiling. You are loved, you are needed, you are not alone. So until next time, take care.